So people talk all the time about what they would do if they were rich or if they had a lot of money. And it's one of those things that everybody always asks everybody. You know, if I had a lot of money, I would have this really awesome car and a big mansion, or if I had all this money, I would buy all this stuff. I mean, it's just that thing that we all think about. It's pretty normal. And I never really had an answer for it. The truth was is that anytime anybody would ask me what I would do if I had a lot of money, I just said I would never wear a pair of socks twice. Because, I mean, what's more awesome than every morning waking up and putting on a fresh, brand new pair of socks? New socks are fucking awesome. It's just one of those things, like life's simple pleasures, right? Well, I gave it some thought, and I decided that if I was ever really, not rich, but just had enough money that I didn't have to worry about it, could afford like a nice little house maybe out in the country or something like that, there was always one thing that I always dreamed about having, and that was a fucking horse. If I could afford it, that's the one thing that I think I would always wanted and would always want. Because I just want a fucking horse. I mean, it's not really a big thing. It's kind of expensive. But honestly, if I could afford to have a fucking horse, I wouldn't even need a nice car. I could have like $1,000 car and like a $10,000 horse and I would be happy. I mean, it's just one of those little things that I've always wanted. I remember I was driving to work one day and I saw this guy actually riding a horse through downtown Fort Wayne, just like down this random street like it was no thing. He's just like sitting there, riding his horse, looking like a cowboy, all badass, kind of had this biker thing going on, just riding his fucking horse downtown. I mean, and how awesome would that be? If somebody called me up and was like, hey man, let's hang out, what are you doing? I'd be like, dude, do people still say dude? I'm not really sure that they do. I'd be like, man, I'll be there in like 2 hours. And they'd be like, dude, don't you have a car? And I'd be like, yeah, I got a car. But fuck that, I got a fucking horse. I'll be there when I get there, riding on my fucking horse. It would be the shit. All I would do all the time is just hang out on my horse. My horse would be the most spoiled horse in existence. Every day when I woke up, I would be like, dude, I'm gonna go see my horse. And I would go outside and I would brush it and like feed it some apples and stuff. And the horse would be one of those horses that was all full of itself. And every time you would look at it, it would just be like, and it would like get that little trance that or prance that horses do where they're all full of themselves and have their head up in the air and shit because it would know that it was the shit and know that it was all spoiled because it would be my fucking horse. It would be the coolest thing in the world. All I would care about was my fucking horse. I mean, you know, within reason. I know people happy cry about a lot of things, but I've never really done that. And I don't really think that there could be much that would make me happy cry. I mean, I was really happy when my son was born. I love my son. He's awesome. He's adorable. He's perfect. He's my little clone. And I was really excited when my son was born. And I think if I ever got married, I would be really excited to get married. That would be awesome. It would be this big thing, and I would wear like Star Wars armor or something, and it would be all ridiculous. But I don't think I would cry. But if I got a horse, the first day that I woke up and walked outside and saw my fucking horse just standing outside in my yard, I would cry. I would just look out and be like, I have a fucking horse. And my wife would come out and she would be like, are you crying? You didn't even cry at our wedding. And I'd be like, fuck you. I got a fucking horse. Look at my horse. It would be the shit. And like, I would take so good care of my horse that I think in the middle of the night, if I heard my horse sneeze, I'd be on the phone with the vet being like, the fucking horse sneezed again. Is he alright? Is he okay? What do I do? Is the horse alright? The vet would probably hate me so much. Because every time his phone rang in the middle of the night, he would be like, is it the fucking horse guy again? Tell him his fucking horse is fine. Horses sneeze. It's just what they do. I don't think I could help it. It would be my fucking horse. He would be the coolest thing in the world. I don't know. It's just one of those things that we think about all the time. You know, what would I do if I had a bunch of money? I don't want to be rich. I don't want a bunch of money. I would like to be able to not worry about my bills, you know, and make just enough money that I could get by comfortably, have a nice little house, a car that ran, you know, not have to worry about things. But if I ever had enough money that I could just blow it, little bit, just a little bit on one thing, it would be a fucking horse. Yeah.